We're going to go ahead and show you step behind the scenes, actually the first part of creating a decoy, the process that's involved here.
I'm Jon Jones. I carve the original floating decoys for Decoy. I'm Jon Jones, that's spelled Jon, not no H, and I'm 68, gonna be 69 in September. I carve the original floating decoys for Decoy.
So Jon, how old were you when you started carving?
The very first bird I ever did, I was a senior in high school.
We're going to go ahead and show you step behind the scenes, actually the first part of creating a decoy, the process that's involved here. We are at my good friend Jon Jones's house in Algonac, Michigan, and aside of the house he's got a carving shed. And inside this little room is basically where most of the magic is completed, some of which is outside with the bandsaw and whatnot. But we're going to walk you specifically through the making of our shoveler decoys. So to start things off, Jon and I kick back and forth ideas. We talk about positions, male, female, quantity and such, but he usually kicks back and forth a couple pictures, and then from there we narrow things down with a hand sketch. So Jon will sketch things out to the scale of the decoy. He'll send them over to me for approval, and then from that point he'll actually take those sketches and lay them on a blank, and he'll make a rough cut with the bandsaw, cutting the profile from the side and cutting the profile from the top. So Jon's got the side profile and the top shaped down and basically rough cut at a block. You'd be surprised at how light this piece is. The next step is he's going to cut the side profile out. He's going to take it and pin it up on top, and that's going to help him cut the top down, but we'll watch the master at work here. There we have,
there's the body.
The rough cut of the body. So you're going to do the head separately, obviously.
Yeah. Now, traditionally, guys just take a draw knife or a smoke shave and work this out around the bird. I'm going to do it with a saw.
And who got you into carving?
I like to hunt. Thought about making my own decoys. An open class carver named Jerry Felster in Fairhaven. So I went and talked to Jerry, and he gave me an idea where the shows were, and I made my first show decoy in winter of '77 and took it to the Toronto Decoy Show in March.
So he's cut the profile from the side and the top. He went ahead and started doing some of the contours with the bandsaw. Jon said there's several ways to do this. A rotary tool, a hand scraper, but he's, as you saw, he did it really fast with a bandsaw. I think he's done this before, but this is an incredible process. Kind of crazy to see this done. So we've got the head done, or not done I should say. We've got the head here. He's followed a very similar process with the pattern, the profile, and the top-down process. He's cut these sides down with the bandsaw, and he's gone ahead and started the shaping with the circular or revolving tool here. He's going to get back at that, and we're going to show you how some of that process looks.
rough it in with that tool, and then take a chisel and
You're dead.
so,
And then you've entered into the Worlds several times, right?
no, actually, I did 1 or 2 birds a year for like 10 years or more. I got working a lot. I won my first Best of Show Open class in 1983, the Canadian National Championship. I judged it in 84, then won that the next 5 years in a row. At that point, I hurt my back at work. I did construction, and I made the decision to carve full time.
How long did it take to get to this point, Jon?
2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah, right. I have to slow this down because it went so fast. So Jon has gone from a blank piece of wood to basically where he is now. He'll rough it out to a certain extent, and then he'll actually start to focus on one side versus the other. And it's a kind of a constant battle between pencil lines and then wearing down those pencil lines till you ultimately come up with your specific feather areas. And then when he gets down the line, he'll start to work it fine, and then he'll add a lacquer that supposedly, or does, help him do more finished cuts that prevent it from chipping or wearing away from his hands working against it. We can go over that later.
In 93, I did a pair of ring necks, and it took second in the world again. And then in 94, I won with that goose. 96, I entered Iders and took second again. So I entered 4 times, won it once, and took 30 seconds.
Wow.
And could have won any of the other times. It was close, but so I had pretty good success. That's the bar shape completed, and I've done feather groups and did the detail. So it's sealed with depth to help protect the wood, so that the detail doesn't wear off. But that's the head fit, the body, and work on there.
And then you also have to play into the manufacturing side of things, right?
Yeah.
So when we make this decoy, it's larger. We make this original, it's larger in size than we want the final product to be, because we'll have shrinkage that's involved in the manufacturing process, right?
Yeah.
And then in addition to that, we've got, you'll put in deeper detail than you would in most areas, or on your other style of carvings. Is that right?
In some cases.
Some cases. And then we've got other things like parting lines and such, where the 2 mold cavities have to come apart. So he's basically given the factory, I think, a pretty clear parting line, which would
Right here, down here.
down here. And then the undercuts, we've basically given Jon to go ahead and we've given him the green light on the undercuts. So we want him to get exaggerated and basically make this a little more extreme than what the toolmaker can do. And unfortunately, at least in Jon's case, they come back in and they kind of touch up some of these undercuts with clay in portions where the tool might not be able to release that piece of plastic. And I know you saw what we had to do with the mallards and you weren't pleased, but I think they turned out okay, don't you?
Sure.
You gotta say yes, Jon.
Yes. Yes, Jon.
When did you meet Dive Bomb?
One of the worst days of my life. I met you maybe 2015, does that sound right?
Maybe then. It's been a long process.
Either 14 or 15. I remember I won Best of Show in Ohio, and yet I could be saying a hen redhead. And you were stalking me at the show, me and Pat, and you came up and started talking to the two of us about it. And we were kind of feeling you out a little bit, but you seemed to have a pretty good idea of what you were in for. So I decided to give it a try.
I thought your words were take a chance.
Yes. We've had basically a handshake agreement since day one. It has worked out pretty well so far.
How many hours would you say are involved in, say, an average decoy for dive bomb, an original that goes on to be mass produced and then sold to the retail customer base?
Good question. If I'm doing nothing else, it's not hunting season or fishing time, whatever, I could probably do it start to finish, the drinks, in 3 weeks. But those are pretty good days out there. The hens take a while because of the way you have to relief carve the dark area of the feathers to get that dimension for when they paint it. I hate that process, to be honest with you, but it's the only way to do it and make it look right. You can't rely on the manufacturer to like duplicate that paint job with stencils, so you have to kind of carve that area in to make their life easier.
So you can wipe the eye spots?
Yep, it's really the only good way to do it. But I don't like that process. It's time consuming. You kind of draw everything on, start carving to redraw it, carve some more, and try to, make it right. So, but it's the way it's got to be done. But, 3 weeks, I guess. So, 120 to 150 hours, maybe.
Gotcha.
If that. But, it's, again, if I really wanted to hurry it, I could probably do it in 60, but I don't need to hurry them.